When a new natural resource is discovered, things start to happen in a certain pattern. If it's efficient and powerful, science and industry could be revolutionized. Countries with deposits get rich, businessmen get richer. Workers spend long hours hauling it out of the ground and then around the world where it powers everyday life. Soon, demand can't keep up with the supply. Reserves dwindle. Legislation gets passed. Powers grab at the last bits remaining. Questionable diplomatic decisions and power struggles become more commonplace. Countries go to war. Does it sound familiar?
Final.
Nah. Bird Humans fought a war over bird Pask. Bird shit. I'm Vibby, and on this episode of A Space Alien Explains, the Chincha Islands War. Welcome to the second half of the 19th century. It was kind of a weird time to be around, considering most of the Western world ran on guano. By the way, guano is animal droppings. In case you were confused by what that meant, bird guano was an ideal fertilizer made mostly of nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. All of those things are really great for plants. And if you can grow great plants, you can industrialize. So guano was pretty important at this time. And on the Chincha Islands of Peru, deposits stacked as high as 150 feet. Yeah, piles of can be that tall. Look, when you're dealing with an animal that has to poop literally every 15 minutes, what do you honestly expect? There was, in fact, so much guano on the Chincha Islands, it supplied over half of Peru's annual budget at that time. Did I mention you can also make gunpowder out of it? So the literal show started when a fight broke out in Lambayeque, Peru. The details are a little scattered, but the incident involved about 40 local citizens and 2 Spanish residents. One of the Spanish dudes got killed. When word reached one of Spain's admirals, he returned to Peru with a fleet of ships, demanding an apology and reparations be paid. Now, my Spanish isn't the best, so I'm gonna have to paraphrase here, but the Peruvians responded with, no. Which in English means no. So Spain decided to take the poop islands. Chincha Islands. It was bad, okay, that bird made a lot of money. Along with landing 400 Marines on the Chincha Islands, the Spaniards also started blocking off Peruvian ports, which pissed off the entirety of South America. And somehow, Spain still found a way to up its reputation even more. A Spanish ship went into a Chilean port to refuel, but was refused on the basis that Chile could not support the Spanish occupation and blockade of Peru. The Spanish commander sailed his ship into the harbor anyway, while also demanding a 21-gun salute from the town. I should mention that the commander made this demand on Chilean National Day. So the Chileans told the guy to kindly off, Spain started demanding reparations instead, and war was declared a week later. Chile had a victory in the bag really early on, when at the Battle of Papudo, the Chileans managed to capture a Spanish ship and take its entire crew prisoner. The Spanish commander was so humiliated by the loss, he committed suicide a couple days later. In light of the unexpected victory, Peru decided to sign a formal alliance with Chile and also declared war on Spain. By winter, Bolivia and Ecuador had jumped into the fray as well. In case you're not keeping track, that's now 5 countries fighting over a literal island. As the war dragged on, Spain was starting to find itself with less friends than it started with. Britain and America, who both had commercial interests in the region, had openly condemned Spain's actions. It's gotta be really bad if Britain and America say shame on you for taking without anyone's permission. Considering Britain and America are the kings of taking without anyone's permission. I can't tell if that was a pun, they did steal a literal island of bird poop. Spain was not in a good place. They were on the losing side of a war with no allies. Supplies on their ships were dwindling, and they were banned from almost every port in South America. The Spanish fleets had nothing to show for their efforts besides a whole lot of guano. You could say they were in some deep I hope the comments section absolutely crucifies me for that. Spain quietly withdrew its forces, and eventually Peru was able to reclaim the islands and all of its glorious bird poop, which they still continue to collect to this day. The war over the Chincha Islands was not the only conflict over guano, surprisingly. The War of the Pacific was partly over guano deposits in the Atacama Desert, but I guess that would be an entirely different video. So for now, here's a bit of wisdom from me to you. If you're gonna make a mountain out of a molehill, better make sure that molehill isn't made of because a mountain of is gonna be a lot harder to deal with than a molehill of
What the does that even mean?
Don't question me, Pask. Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. This week's featured fan art is by NeroNico1 on Twitter. Link to the artist's page is in the description. And here's some comments from the last video. If you found this literal show as funny as I did, please be sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I have art commissions and a Ko-Fi page available. Buy me a coffee and I'll make you a little sketch as a way of saying thanks. Links to all that, as well as links to my social media, are in the description. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you real soon.